let us read from another section of the Vachanamrut that you recommend for us, SkyGuardian. The Vachanamrut is a recent spiritual scripture. Many spiritual scriptures, there are hundreds to thousands of years old. This is very recent in comparison. It's a series of spiritual discourses of a great being known as Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Over thousands of years, humanity has been honored to know various divine personalities, from Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Christ, Prophet of Islam, to more recent times like Swaminarayan or Sri Ramakrishna. Swaminarayan was around in the turn of the 19th century, and this book recounts the discourses that he had in the last 10 years of life. So let's explore this unique spiritual lineage. And then later on in this live, before we end, we will do a meditation on an animation showing Swaminarayan dancing. It's a lovely animation. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Here we are reading Gadhadā 143, the 4 types of liberation. Interesting. Liberation, similar to the concept of salvation in Western religion, is the idea that right now we are in the middle of so much suffering. Even if we live in a good place with good friends, good family, good job, good healthcare, we could still not be truly happy. Liberation is that final step to truly be happy. It's said that it takes 8.4 million rebirths. Specifically, we have to live through 8.4 million births from that many wombs. We must have that many mothers. Very interesting. Anyway, on to the passage. On the evening of Maha Sudhi the 7th, Samvat 1876, which is actually the 22nd of January 1820 in our calendar here, Sriji Maharaj, terms of endearment for Swaminarayan, was sitting on a large decorated cot on the veranda outside the east-facing rooms of Dada Kachar's Darbar in Gadhadā. He had tied a white pag around his head. He had covered himself with a white cotton cloth and was wearing a white case as well. Tassels of yellow flowers were dangling from his pug, and garlands of yellow flowers adorned his neck. Also, bunches of yellow flowers had been placed upon both of his ears. So cute. At that time, an assembly of munis, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him. Looking at all the devotees with a compassionate gaze, Sriji Maharaj said, "I wish to ask you a question, so please listen." He then began. The Srimad Bhagavat Puran, which is a very famous Purana in Hindu culture. Puranas are like stories. They are spiritual scriptures, but they're more playful. They just recount pastimes of divine personalities. The Srimad Bhagavat Purana is the most famous of which, and it states, those who are devotees of divinity, do not desire any of the 4 types of liberation. This is a powerful sentence here. That although the spiritual path culminates in liberation, devotees, bhaktas, really, those on the path of bhakti yoga, loving devotion, they're not interested in their own liberation. Other great devotees of God also say, devotees, bhaktas, do not wish for the 4 types of liberation. What are the 4 types of liberation? Well, the first is to reside in the realm of God. We've heard people say this, I want to be in heaven with the Lord. The second is to stay near God, be with me always. The third is to assume a form similar to that of God. I want to be God-like. And the fourth is to attain divine powers similar to God's powers. These are the 4 types of liberation. But a devotee, a true devotee of God, does not wish for any of these. They wish only to serve that source. Now my question is, why does that devotee not wish for the 4 types of liberation? Please answer according to your ability. All of the Paramahansas, great sages, attempted to answer the question, but were unable to do so satisfactorily. Thereupon, Sriji Maharaj said, "Here, I shall answer the question. One who maintains a desire for those 4 types of liberation after becoming a devotee is known as a Sakam devotee." Mataji, what is a Sakam devotee? What does Sakam mean? I'm unfamiliar.
Dear one, a Sakam devotee seeks blessings and material desires from the divine. Sakam means with desire or attachment.
Gotcha.
Seeking something specific, you see.
Thank you. In contrast, one who has no desires regarding the 4 types of liberation, and one who desires to serve God is known as a Nishkam devotee, without desire. In fact, the Srimad Bhagavat states, some Sanskrit here. Okay. Instead of butchering the Sanskrit, I'm just going to read the translation. Actually, no, I think it would be fun to read. Okay, we'll do it. Matsevayam pratitam cha salokyadi chatushtayam nich chanti sevaya purnaha kuto nyatkala viplutam. If those who are only fulfilled by serving me do not desire the 4 types of liberation, such as a place in my abode, etc., which are attained by serving me, then why would they desire anything that is ultimately perishable? From the 9th canto, 4th chapter, 67th verse of the Srimad Bhagavat. Another verse for you. Salokya sarshti samipya sarupya katvam apyuta diyamamam na krunanti vinamat sevanam janaha. Even if granted a place in my abode, powers similar to mine, my vicinity, a form similar to mine, or oneness with me, in other words, qualities similar to me, Nishkam, desireless devotees, would not accept them without my service. And that's from the 3rd canto, 29th chapter, 13th verse of the Srimad Bhagavat. Also, although the second verse mentions 5 types of liberation, this does not contradict with the earlier verse, which does not mention oneness with me, since there are considered to be 2 quote-unquote sets of liberation. A person who attains oneness with God, in other words, qualities similar to those of God, will naturally attain the other 4 types of liberation. On the other hand, the other 4 types of liberation alone are for those who have not attained such oneness with God. This means that a Nishkam devotee of God does not wish for the 4 types of liberation. If service, i.e. attending to God, is not included therein, they wish only to serve that source. God also insistently grants such a devotee with His divine powers and bliss, even though the devotee does not wish for them. Kapil Dev Bhagwan has also said, Atho vibhutim mama maya vinastam aishvaryam ashtangam anupravrittam shriyam bhagavatim vaspruhayanti bhadram bharasya medhishnuvate duloke. Even though my Nishkam, desireless devotees have no wish for the material opulence of the realms up to and including the realm of the Creator, Brahma, for the 8 yogic powers, or for the auspicious wealth of God, they still enjoy, in other words, attain all these in my Supreme Being's abode. It is only such a Nishkam devotee who has been referred to as a devotee with Gyan, knowledge, by Krishna Bhagavan. In the Bhagavad Gita, a Sakam devotee, one with desire, on the other hand, has been referred to as materialistic. Therefore, a devotee should not wish for anything except the service of God. After all, wishing for anything other than the service of God is considered to be a deficiency in that devotee. If one does have such a deficiency, it should be overcome by profound association, sangha, with the desireless, ekantik, absolute bhakta devotee of God. What a wonderful passage this was. And this answers many wonderful questions that people have about both religion and liberation. That there's these kinds of devotees that are Sakam. They have desire, oh please, may I go to heaven, may you bless me with divine powers, may I have a nice house, may I have a new Tesla, may you send me enough money to buy a new iPhone, may you send me a beautiful boyfriend. That's one kind of devotee where they see the world as the means, the world as the goal, materialistic things, but God as the means. On the other hand, a desireless devotee, an ekantik bhakta, an absolute devotee, does not desire anything other than service, and yet they attain liberation in the process. And this answers that age-old question that arises in non-dual views for liberation, that if liberation is the goal, and to get to that goal requires not having any selfish desires, how can we attain liberation? Isn't that a paradox? Don't I need the desire for liberation in order to be liberated? But the desire for liberation is one of the desires preventing me from being liberated? So in this tradition, there is a solution to this paradox, which is very simple. Don't desire liberation. Desire something even higher, from mukti, liberation, to bhakti, devotion. And the more you increase your devotion, the more mukti will be granted to you to fulfill your devotion with even more potency. Thank you for listening, everyone. That was a nice technical one. I enjoyed that one.